where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG. Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all your sports betting needs and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. And who are you picking to win the World Series? I'm picking the Royals, but I don't think that's going to work out, but we'll see. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey there, Marcus Dash here, co-host of Chief Concerns. At the conclusion of this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe to our podcast right here on YouTube. And for all you listeners out there, please be sure to give us a 5-star review on any of the platforms you use to listen to us. I want to thank you all for listening to us throughout the season, and we look forward to engaging with you all throughout the offseason. Enjoy the episode. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm here with our host, former tight end Jason Dunn. And tonight we are joined by NFL Draft Guru, owner of NFL Draft Diamonds, Damond Talbot, for our second annual Chief Concerns mock draft. Damond, it's awesome to have you on, man. We're really looking forward to doing this with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's hard coming from the Bills Mafia and coming and joining the Chiefs show, but I'll tell you what, man, I'll make the best of it, and I'll try to be unbiased, I promise.
Yeah, man. Look, you got to appreciate it, right? I mean, for the simple fact, you're thinking about the top two teams, I would say in the AFC, no doubt about it. And given that good look, and Buffalo has a great history. I'm not mad at them at all. I mean, I had a lot of good friends that played up there in Buffalo. So I got a little love, man, for up there with the Bills, man. So it's a good thing. That's all right. It's good. You'll enjoy it. It's going to be a good time.
I bet.
So tonight, a lot of our viewers and our Twitter followers have really suggested that we do a mock draft like we did last year. Last year, we did all 7 rounds, which is tough to do. But this year, we have so many picks, so we're doing the first 3 rounds. We got 6 picks in the first 3 rounds. And Jason's going to be wearing the hat of Brett Veach today. And Damon's going to give us the full comprehensive analysis on whoever we draft or whoever Jason selects for the Chiefs picks tonight. So that's the way it goes. That's gonna be the first 3 rounds, and it's gonna be a lot to get into. So, you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
You ready? You're on the clock, buddy. You ready?
Let's go. Let's do it, man.
All right. So we'll begin with the 29th pick of the first round. So we're going to simulate the first 28 picks there. But JD, with the 29th pick of the first round, who are you looking at? Who do you think the Chiefs should be selecting the 29th pick? If you're mock draft, who do you have for the Chiefs?
Okay, so I did a couple mock picks. All right, so I want to preface all of this with, who I think may be available at the time, not necessarily who I really want, possibly because I just think some of the guys that may have the potential, we may not get. I think these guys may necessarily be gone, but the ones that I'm hearing kind of through this whole process that may necessarily be there, 29 possibly, is kind of where I'm gonna start with, right? And also, too, I'm going to preface by saying I'm looking at team needs, what I think would work for the Chiefs system-wise, defensively, offensively, not just right now, but for the future. So with the 29th selection for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think I'm going to take Kiar Elam, cornerback from Florida. So that's my guy. I like him. Matter of fact, my strategy, because we're talking about a lot of things that we need, right? We know we need a corner. We know we need a wide receiver. We need edge. But holes-wise, myself, I think defensively, if you get a corner, a guy that has the ball skills that he has, okay, the length that he has, the speed that he's got, natural skills, who without a doubt plays big and talented against all the big names and the talents and all he's just going to get better with the competition he's going up against. That's the way I've seen it. And so when I was seeing on film, the things he was doing, man, he was, when I'm talking about impressive, I mean, I really, really liked him. I liked him a lot. And so if we can get a guy like that here with the Chiefs on defense at corner, to me, I think, man, he's a great fit. So, Damon, what do you think?
You know, it'd be a kind of a surprise pick in a way. Not saying that he's definitely top 25 worthy. I live right here near Gainesville. I've watched him play live. The kid is a ball hawk. He is a beast on the football field. You said it right. I think with the 29th pick overall, I think the Chiefs are probably going to go best player available. And there's going to be some guys that are there. And, will they take a corner necessarily first overall? I don't know. I'm not trying to discredit Jason or saying anything negative on this. I'm just saying, like he said in the beginning, it's hard to determine who's going to be there. If you look at the top 30 visits, most of the guys that they have brought in for the Chiefs for the defensive back position are late round guys, or guys that are kind of like brim guys, like Jalen Watson from Washington State, or Greg Jr. from Ouachita Baptist. They're small school guys or smaller guys that are pushed down the ranks, which usually says that they're kind of probably interested in what they have on their roster. Now, I'm not saying they won't go get a top-tier corner because they do have extra picks from the Tyreek deal. So could be a great option. I think a player that could fall to you, and I hope I don't ruin your 20 or your 30th pick. Why don't I let you do the 30th pick, and then I'll go over and say a couple guys that I think could be there and throw out a couple more possibilities, because there could be some sneak moves in here if we can. So why don't you go ahead on 30, and then I'll come back and answer for both.
So I kind of like what you said with that, because if Elam slides down to us, right, and that's almost what I was thinking too, he could be the next best guy on the board. Right? Like if he slides down, I'm thinking, look, you got to get a guy like this, right? That's, to me, would be the next best guy possibly on the board that at least I would take, especially, dealing with the knee, right? And so, the willing and dealing of these things, like I said, if Elam will last that long, like you said, he's top 25 worthy, no doubt about it, right? He's not the top corner, but he's right there where you're saying teams could use his skill set, no doubt about it. And so, so I'll go to my 30. So my 30 is this. And kind of my thinking is, if I'm Brett Veach, this is my druthers. I have it like I want to. I've said I want to be more defense heavy because of the holes that we had to fill, right? I mean, there's a reason we have all these draft picks. Let's use them for what the holes that we have on defense. Now, not saying that the Chiefs don't like the guys in the room, because I know they do. But we also lost a great guy in free agency, which we need to replace. And so also, too, if it throws into the time and like we don't have, Tyrann Mathieu or some of those guys that have the skill set, we need a guy back there who is a dog, who plays man coverage with the best of them, right? Put their hands on them. It comes up, you can tackle, do all those different things. 30th pick. I'm thinking now, edge-wise, I'm going to have to go with my man, Arnold DK, or what is I know it's not. Yeah, I like him a lot, and so I've been kind of going back and forth between him and my faith. I really have, as far as like what we could utilize in this defensive system. But I like him a lot just because of the simple fact his athleticism seems to kind of jump off the board a little bit more to me, And I'll say this: And I've evaluated. I worked, combine, regional combines. I've scouted. I've coached college ball for the last 10, 11 years, right? And so scouting talent and looking at guys, I can remember a scout telling me, he said, Jason, he said, when I'm looking at these guys, and this is at the combine, he said, I'm looking at these guys, if these guys can line up against you on Sunday, right? We're talking about one of the best blocking tight ends that ever played a game. If we sitting over saying a guy that's been in here, we know what he's going to do, what he's going to bring to the table. Can this guy come against you on Sunday, right? And it never left me. That had never left me. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, yeah. If I'm looking at these defensive ends or these edge guys, I'm lining them up. I know immediately if I could be able to put my hands on a guy, right? And look, and I'm telling you, I've gone against the best, okay? Just through my career. Through that 12 years in the NFL, I've had, you name it, right? Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Charles Mann, Kevin Green. I mean, you name it, the whole Bills defense, right? The whole Bills defense. I mean, just, during that time, in that era, Charles Haley. I mean, you name it. I mean, I've gone against these guys. And so when I look at this guy, I like his athleticism when he jumps off the board. So that's my 30th pick. So go ahead, Damon. What do you think?
So I love it. He is a freak. He is a beast. He's got he's big enough to play on your guys' line and get production for sure. I think where I'm going to go back to is this. I think there's going to be players that drop. Every year you see it happen. The Chiefs are intelligent. The Chiefs are not going to waste a pick, and they're not going to reach. They're just not going to. They're going to let people fall to them. And that's what makes the Chiefs amazing. If you go back and you look at their drafts, it pisses me off, but they're amazing at what they do. They'll allow a kid. What's the offensive lineman's name from Tennessee?
Smith.
You guys got him. Yeah, Trey Smith. He falls to you. No one. We don't want him because of this medical. Man, he's been a beast for y'all. Right. He comes in. He's been playing damn near nothing stopped, and that's what the Chiefs do that separate them from the next team, and that's why they're the best damn team year in and year out. It's the Patriots all over again. I hate them, but we'll go to this. This is where I think players are going to drop. Devontae Wyatt from Georgia. Mm-hmm. Listen. Do not be surprised if this guy falls to 29. He has several domestic violence cases that are in his past that are going to come up, and he's going to drop them. And you know damn well as everybody else, people are afraid of it. People are afraid of negative media. You know who's not afraid of it? Andy Reid. Reid. Tyreek Hill. I mean, come on now.
Right.
You take the best available player. And you know what? Mm-hmm. If Devontae Wyatt falls to you at 29 and he's just sitting there waiting for you to do something, not many other teams are going to do anything because they're going to be like, well, why did that team pass? Why did the Packers pass? Or why did this team pass? And they're going to be wondering why. And there he is just sitting there like Trey Smith. Like, hey, free gift with a bow on it. And then the 30th pick, another guy, just different guys that could fall to you. Jameson Williams, right? The wide receiver. Could he still be there? We don't know what his medicals really checked out to be. He had to go back for a recheck in Indy for the medicals. Is he 100%? What has he been doing? None of us really know if he can go. Yes, he's a hell of a player, but those medicals scare teams. In NFL teams, as you know, they look for guys that can come in right now and produce. But when you have the luxury to have two of them, you can take a flyer on a guy and wait a year. David Ojabo from Michigan. Yeah. That's another guy. He just tore his ACL in Pro Day. Or Achilles, one of them. I can't remember what he tore.
Achilles, yep.
If you can get that guy and he falls to you, hello, you take him, right? I mean, that he should be a top 15 pick. So there's potential to get amazing football players early in the draft of the 29th and 30th pick. But let's not throw this out there. What if they do a package deal and swing a trade for Deebo? What if they throw a pick and give Deebo the $25 million they were going to give Tyreek? And say, we're going to use you as a wide receiver. You get to come play with Patrick Mahomes or you get to play with a rookie. Patrick Mahomes for $200, Alex. I'll take it with $25.
Right.
You're going to the best team in the AFC potentially. And the NFC stacked right now. I would want out too.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in that division, they're stacking it up. And then you got the AFC West is stacking up. So if you can go to a team, right, and you can make that team better to compete, the Chiefs got to be thinking really hard with what the Chargers have been doing, what the Raiders have been pulling off. You got to be thinking like, what can we do? And you don't want to leave the Chiefs fans like, man, what if we don't do something? Yeah, Jameson Williams might fall to you, but is he a Deebo Samuel? No, not right now. Deebo Samuel right now can come in and change some things. He can be used like a Tyreek Hill. You already know what Tyreek Hill can do in that offense. Now imagine what a Deebo can do. Now I'm not saying they're going to give up both picks, but you have 6 picks in the top 100. That's pretty valuable. Maybe you give up a couple of the picks that you got for Tyreek, and you end up landing Deebo because he's unhappy on draft day, and they want to find a replacement. Maybe they come up and draft the Jameson Williams, who's still there. So at that point, I think you have options for the Chiefs. I wouldn't rule out a lot of people. A couple other guys I could see falling to you. Maybe Nakobe Dean, if he falls that far, for the linebacker.
Yeah.
You guys have had some interest in linebackers coming in. I like your linebacker core, but maybe that's something that if he's the best player available, maybe they just reach out and swing for it. So I don't know. You have some amazing picks, but I will say this. What if an offensive tackle falls to you? What if Trevor Penning falls past 20, he falls to 29? Do you take him, the offensive tackle from UNI? Orlando Brown's 25. He just got franchised. Do you want to pay him that much money? That's an option. You could take an offensive lineman here too, or a replacement. I personally would keep Orlando Brown at 25 and try to give him a long-term deal. But contracts are getting insane right now. Sorry to cut you off, Marcus.
No, I was going to say, we talked about this in the show, right tackle's a giant question mark for us. And what if we put this guy at right tackle for a rookie for a year and see how Orlando Brown kind of progresses in the offseason and this year coming up? That's something we've talked about, JD. I know you wouldn't be opposed to that.
Not at all. The only thing is, when we, and this because when you're going right tackle to left tackle, that's two totally different positions. It really is. I don't think sometimes people just, we're going to plug in their tackle. And it's not that easy. It isn't. Orlando Brown he struggled this past, I'll say relatively struggled, right? Because the sets are different. The angles are different. Getting back, we're talking about this is the blind side. You're going to have the best guy that you had to go against on the left side. And so you got to learn your feet, your hips, and everything has to be in order. And it takes time. It takes time for moving from right to left. And so I was just saying, man, the transition for him to be good, he's a good player. He's a great player. The transition may take a little bit longer because he's going from right to left. And it takes time for a guy that goes, look, as a tight end who switches to right to left, and I had to block right to left sometimes, I had to switch my feet up. And a lot of that is like gauging, getting back. Your steps back are a lot different. You got to practice this thing over and over again, right? Your sets, your hand placement, all those things go into it, the integral parts, especially learning that position. I think people don't realize, when you do tackles, like, we're just going to plug him in it. It's not quite like that. So if guys are playing right tackle, you want to keep him at right tackle. Orlando Brown is a guy who's like high caliber tackle who can make a transition to the left tackle, right? There's not a lot of guys can do that and be effective. It's not. And so I think it talks a lot to, what he can give, what he gave this past year and who he is. And I like what you said about that, Damon, about, do you invest in this guy? If we know Pat's going to be here, then you got to make sure there's going to be somebody to protect Pat the whole time, right? You got to keep that guy here. So I don't know if you play musical chairs as far as like getting another tackling here. You don't want to keep doing that. Look, Pat's here. Then you want to make sure you got, this wall that's here too, right? That's fortified. And so as long as you have, the guys, we love who we got in the room right now, right? I know I'm kind of going off on this, but, when you look at maybe, like you said, getting a tackle, if he falls in, because you had to think about, the contract negotiations. This is everything that comes up. Everybody's talking about these things, right? Man, if he's available, do we take him? Yeah, we might have to. And so that's the beauty of having that many picks. It really is, because it gives you that flexibility to say, you know what, we could give something up to maybe get this guy if we want to, if that's the necessarily need, because we know in the contract negotiations, it's going to go, a little wary long-term, right? Same thing with the Deebo thing. Now personally, I'll say this, David, I like Deebo a lot. I don't take anything away from this guy at all. Everybody would love to have him. The question is, are you willing to give up what you want to give up to get a guy like that, right? Because I said, Tyreek, who had the deal here, guy that we knew, fully well, wanted to take his talents elsewhere. Fine. That's fine. He's right to do that. Wish him well. Deebo comes in. He's a solid player, runs the football a little bit. Do you take away all the picks and the capital that you have to get this guy here. And you got to pay him top 25 top money on top of that too, right? I mean, I know we say it 25 million, but hey, look, he didn't see what DeMonte got. He's seen what Hill got. And he's looking like, look, you see my production, all right? I need to get paid what those guys are getting paid. That's ultimately what he's looking for, which he should. Hey, look, man, I'm a guy. Get as much money as you can. Please, go get it. If they don't pay you, get it. Absolutely, right? Make them right. Get you a bag, give you a blank check. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for it. I just don't know if the Chiefs, like you said, because of like the style they're doing, do we want to go through this, like giving this up, especially this close to, the.
Well, here's my thing though. He made a comment. He made a comment today in that tweet when he was talking to Jeff Darlington. He said it's not about the money. It's about other things. We don't know what them other things are. If it's really not about money, you really kind of like, where would you want to play? He doesn't have a no trade clause or anything like that. But at the end of the day, they've already basically kind of said that Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback. You don't know what your production is going to be like, and you're in a contract year. If you don't produce like you did last year, you're not hitting $25 million. If you hold out, you can at least get $25 million. So that's the mindset. That's where I'm at with it, and I think that the Niners are kind of over the barrel with this. Obviously, the Jets can afford a lot more, and couple other teams can afford a lot more, but I mean, ultimately, if Deebo says I'm not going to go play for them, he kind of holds the cards because they can do that, and that's what happens. So I don't know. I just threw them things out there, but I will tell you this: if you want an athletic guy, like I said to Trevor Penning in the offensive tackle, he's played both positions and at UNI, but he's tenacious as hell. Probably one of the more ruthless offensive tackles that I've ever watched. And you can see that at the Senior Bowl. Like he was hitting dudes afterwards, pushing dudes into the dudes into the field goal post and everything. That's what I want. Hey, look, you got Patrick Mahomes, you better have somebody hitting their ass.
Right.
But that's where I was
like, man, get off me.
Did you just hit Patrick? Oh, he turns into Hulk, but he's, I don't know. Hey, look, man, you got to protect that dude at all costs. That's all I'm saying. So, but no,
I like that was where I came. I love that. I love that, man. I did. I seen when we pushed him out. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
He's trying to start fights. Yeah,
right.
You know what?
So, go ahead.
I want to ask you about a receiver. So I was talking to Darius Snow. He's a safety, Michigan State. I do a podcast with his dad, Eric Snow, and I asked him just about some of the receivers in this class. I said, who are your favorite receivers, or who do you think are the best receivers in this class based on your experience, guarding these guys? And he said the Ohio State receivers. He said rank them how you want to. He said those are the best in the best prospects in this draft class. Once he's faced at least. And I was mainly asking about Chris Olave because I'm a huge fan of his. Do you see him possibly being around the 29th, 30th, or no?
If Olave falls to you at 30, I can see Andy Reid running up on the stage to throw tickets and stuff, throw the nameplates at him. Olave should not be there at 29, and neither should Garrett Wilson. Both of them should be done in the top 15. But you never know. You never freaking know. Draft is stupid. You don't know if people go on quarterback binge. People just start drafting quarterbacks. I heard rumors today that Carolina's considered trading down. They're willing to trade down, and they're not looking at quarterback. They're looking at a different position. So it's like, it could be interesting. The value is not going to be there like it is in the top 10 this year because there's so many teams that have multiple picks. If they really wanted to go up to get somebody, they could. But will they? And that's the thing. I think that if the right player falls, you'll see trades. You're going to have people drop, and that's just the way that it works. And unfortunately, there's a lot more things behind the scenes that happen that we don't know about. There's failed drug tests. There's different things. There's lying, simple, stupid stuff, which – I didn't realize how big it is, but if you lie to a team, man, that'll like crush your stock. Just like stupid little lies, like they're petty. So, if somebody lies like that, they might take them right off the board, and you're like, well, why did they pass on that guy? So I don't know. Just there's going to be players that drop, but Olave should not be one of those, and neither should Garrett Wilson.
All right. So this will bring it to the third pick, right? Second round. All right, the third pick that I'm looking at. I don't know if this guy's going to be there. And to be honest with you, I'm looking for the need, what we need, okay, with the Chiefs. And so we're looking for another guy opposite of MBS, okay? That's what we need. I'm thinking offensively, this is where we're looking for that wide receiver, if the guy is available, okay? And so I'm going to preface this. I'm going to say there's 3 guys. There's 3. And I don't know if they'll fall, but I like Johnny Dotson. I like George Pickens. And I like Christian Watson. Okay? There's 3 guys. All right? Now, I'm going to give you all three guys, okay, for the fact. And here's the thing, because I don't know if these guys – look, we know people need wide receivers. We know they need wide receivers all over the league, right? I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the teams that's picking before it's on 50. I'm like, oh, gosh. Like, I don't know if these guys will be there because it's like it's going to start going like hotcakes, right? But those 3 guys, Johnny Dotson, look, what he's been able to do, the route running ability, getting open in his hands. To me, like when I'm sitting over here, a guy like that just makes sense. I mean, he really does. Offensively, like making a transition into the NFL. And we're talking about a guy who runs great crisp routes, okay? Didn't have the greatest of quarterbacks, okay, playing in college, throwing it to him all the time. And so the things he was able to do just looks so seamless to me. Like it just looks so natural and easy. And so when I'm looking at wide receivers, when a guy's just taking off running, he's running routes and coming out his break and he's just catching the ball, it seems so natural to him. Like this is something he was built to do, right? And so he kind of has like a little bit of that twitch motion. This evaluation, and maybe it's too far. I learned this a long time ago, not to use guys' names and other guys, because sometimes, like, look, don't disrespect this guy by saying this guy's name. He ain't got there yet. He ain't earned that. But the way he runs, I don't know. Like to me, he kind of looks. I'm just the guy back in the day, and not really comparison, but just kind of how he runs routes, just kind of twitchy. It's like Marvin Harrison in a way. I don't know, but he kind of seems a little bit that way. I see like little flashes of that in him. Plus the way he's able to pluck the ball out of the air. That's what I love more than anything else. And I think what we've been missing is kind of like sure-handedness on the Chiefs. Is like the guy just plucking the ball. Like when you throw the ball to him, he's going up to pluck it. And so they were showing a couple of videos of Tyreek, like especially like in the playoffs. So he went up for one and he tried to catch it like this, and they intercepted it. Dotson, he's without a doubt. You throw it up there to him, he's going to go get it. It's just like Pat would throw it up there to him, knowing he's going to make that catch, right, in that matchup. And so he's not scared to go up and get it. You can see his high point skills. I mean, he's catching it, he's on it. I mean, his ball skills is incredible. That's what I love about him. Okay, so Dotson, I like him. Now I'm gonna go to Pickens, and I've been kind of talking to people, of course, on Twitter about this guy. I don't like Watson and Pickens. I like Pickens. I like Pickens a lot. Now, obviously, the injury, okay, the ACL coming back is an issue. It's cause for concern. The guy's got ball skills. He's got body control. He's got great hands. He's a guy that can do it all. He really can. He's a guy that, is going to run good routes. He's going to body guys up. He runs by guys. And so he understands, route running too. He does a great job setting guys up, man. He looks phenomenal out there, right? I mean, anybody would love to have a guy like that. And so I think he'll fall just because of the injury in itself. When you're talking about injuries, the team's like, this guy, I like him, but do I like him that much for this? So I think he might be a guy that could fall to us for the 50th pick. No doubt about it, right? So I like Pickens. I like him a lot, man, just his athletic ability. Plus, when you look at how his exuberance on playing, like making plays, I love that. I love that swag about him. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants to compete. He's like, look, I know I'm out here, and I know I'm going to take this guy first down on you. Let's go. And he's just going to keep coming at you. And I love that. I just love that guys that have that confidence that's oozing out of him. And he has it all about him. So that's what I love about Pickens. Now, my third guy, right, is still Watson, okay? This is Watson. Because he played at North Dakota State, everybody's like, is he going to be able to translate up here to the NFL, right? Listen, this is what I know. Same thing going to scouting, playing the ball. I played with his dad, for one. I played with him in Philly, okay? So I know he comes from great stock. I know he comes from a good dude, for one, all right? And I know his father got him right. And I know he's got the NFL mindset. I've seen this guy just get better and better every single year when I start looking at the tape and I start looking at the numbers. And everybody was talking about, oh, man, he's a drop machine, this and that. Well, they don't tell you after the third game this past season, he didn't drop not one ball. You know, everybody keeps missing the fact when he went down to Senior Bowl, he's torching every DB that was out there, right, on this high-level competition, and he's taking everybody's name. Not to mention his athleticism. Man runs a 4.3, okay? He could go hit his head on the goalpost every time you get the ball to him, right? And so when I'm sitting over here, and I was kind of talking about this, like, we lost Tyreek Hill. You're talking about it. You need a headbanger that is a triple threat return, okay? He can return the ball. You can hand it off on jet sweeps. You can give the ball to him, okay? He can take the top off the defense. And I'm talking about running by guys. The ones I was seeing Pickens dive for, he's running past it. He's catching up underneath it. I mean, that's because he has that speed. And so when I'm looking at it, what I know about guys from smaller schools is there's a sense of heart in him, okay, that he wants to prove himself every time. And he's looking to get better. We talked about a guy who's just a hard worker. And you see it in his production over the years that once he gets like NFL coaching from guys to know exactly what he's going to do, the guy's going to produce. To me, I think he's got star written all over him, right? Look, he may take a little time to get there, but I think once he gets there and he figures it out, gets some real toolage and some coaching, this guy right here, he's going to be taking off. And the thing is, I learned this from John Gruden. John Gruden always said, man, don't be a robot. Don't be a robot, Jason, when you run routes. And know that I got what he said. He said, man, use your athletic ability with the system that we're running for your skills. Once we get to, you know the route to run, I need to see Jason Dunn run that route. I need to see that 4-5 come out of you. I need to see that basketball on your hips come out when you're running that route now. So Christian Watson get there, man, and we talking about the system that we run. I think Jahan Dotson and Christian Watson with the system that we run will be an ideal guy to be here. For the simple fact, you hand the ball out to him, you throw him in short, intermediate routes, run some bubbles and stuff like that with him, let him go hit his head on the goalpost. So that's where I'm at with it. So I'm going to let you talk, man. I know I'm talking a lot, man, but I just get excited now instead of talking. But go ahead.
No, I think I love it. I think wide receiver is definitely where I think you'll go at 50. I think a couple more people that you could definitely go. I mean, I think John Mechie will fall to from Alabama, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alec Pierce, George Pickens' teammate, the little white boy, I think he could be another sleepy guy that could come in and do something. I do think Pickens will be there at 50. I think he could do that. I think Dotson will be there at 50, and Watson, I'm not 100% sure about. I think Watson will probably be gone by 50, but you never know. I could be wrong. I can tell you this. I had the pleasure to watch Watson his entire career. I scout small schoolers, and Watson is everything that you said. He's probably one of the best return men in the draft. It's not even close. I mean, he hits speeds that are ridiculous on his returns, and he's one play away from breaking it. And that's what Tyreek Hill was. So you kind of hit them on the head. I think with the 50th pick, if you do go a wide receiver, I don't think you can go wrong with any one of those 5 that we just mentioned. But you definitely want to give Pat more weapons. Losing Tyreek Hill is a lot of targets. You guys lost D-Rob, and you lost one more wideout, right? Who was it?
Pringle. Yeah.
Pringle.
Yeah, Pringle when he was in Chicago.
If you add up all those missed targets, now that they're missing, they're going to need to find somebody else to split it up. Tyreek Hill had 150-plus targets last year alone. That's a lot. That's a lot of targets. So that's 10 targets a game, give or take, when you start breaking it down. I mean, that's a lot of targets. So who are you going to disperse them to? Is it going to be Juju? Is it going to be, the guys that they have, Marquez, Valdez, Scantling, whatever? I don't know, but I mean, I'll tell you this: you gotta find weapons and you gotta replace them. And I think last year in the draft, the Chiefs were, well, not even the draft, just in free agency and offseason, their main goal was to protect Patrick Mahomes, and they did that. They did a great job at it. And this year, I think they're going to do what you said is get the defense right. I think they're going to try to do everything they can to get the defense right and add weapons, and especially cheaper weapons, guys that they can groom into the Andy Reid system over years that they don't have to pay $25 million to. So any five of those guys would be great.
Yeah, the Dotson draft pick. My brother and I were talking about that, JD. We actually said that he reminded us of a Marvin Harrison, Tyler Lockett, like kind of hybrid. That's what he kind of reminded my brother and I of. So it's funny you said that.
Yeah. And kind of same thing to the point we were just kind of talking about real quick. Offensively, right? We know contracts. Juju's on a 1-year deal. Okay.
Yep.
Hardman is his last year on his deal. Right. So now all of a sudden it's going to be MVS and then who else? And so, like you said, taking targets away, a guy like that you are helping to groom, okay, if you will, in the NFL. Okay, you give him little stuff where he's kind of catching up because you got veterans in the room right now, right? You got MVS, you got Juju, and you got Hardman. And then you got Josh Gordon, Corey Coleman. You got guys in here who's played in NFL, right, who will help him in his progression. And so a guy like that, because he's getting better, who wants to learn, who's easy a sponge, I think, like, man, to me, because of his skill set, like you said, the return man, all those different things, man, come on, man. You got that guy in the room already, right? You got him in the room. I say he's as close to Tyreek Hill than anybody else. He's the guy that Patrick could do like, hey, I'm just going to throw it, F it. Watson's down there somewhere, right? He could be that guy, you know? So that's what I got. So my next pick, okay, round 2, at 62, and I think this guy, he's been coming up on the boards lately, and I watched him here, okay, and I like him a lot. There's 2 guys. I'm gonna give you two. See what you think, okay? Josh Pascal from Kentucky. Okay, I've watched him since he's been here, and I have a great friend who's he's a strength coach over at UK. All right, and he always gives me all the. And I'm friends with the staff up here at UK. You know, I know these guys. He jumps out to me all the time. I mean, every time I'm watching him, they rave about this guy all the time. And when you watch against the defense and the competition he's going against, he's always showing up. He's always in on the play. And it's all like, I'm like, man, this dude, I'm like, it's him again? Wow, it's him. And he's relentless. And so what we've been missing, in my opinion, is relentless guys on the line, okay? Like that hunger, just keep getting after guys, okay? And so he gives you that run game that he can definitely hunker down, okay, and give you that guy on that line of defense that can stop the run, shed a guy, and get the tackle. He has that ability about him. And I think he's ready now because he's done that all in the SEC against all the competition, against all the best guys. You name the tackles or whoever who's coming out this year, John has knocked out each and every one of them. He's done his best against them, and he's done a great job. So he's already ready, I think, for the NFL. So I like him a lot. The other guy I think might be there that I like too, okay? I watched him in the Senior Bowl, and I started watching a lot more of his tapes in some of the games that I like. Logan Hall. So I don't know if Logan Hall's going to be there, but I like him a lot. And so he's another of those guys, that high-energy guy that'll keep coming. He's got the size. He's got the strength, enough strength where he could play, you know, in this defense to be effective. And so with a guy like that, man, that can just move around, I like him. So what do you think?
You know, it's funny. If I showed you my paper, I have Josh Pascal. I mean, that's who I have. I think fits I think he fits the defense exactly what you said. He fits it perfect. Amazing storyline behind him. You got to really check out his storyline. Beat cancer. I mean, I think he had cancer and beat it, overcame it. He was a guy I wanted for the Hula Bowl. I worked for the Hula Bowl. I was trying to get him down there. tried everything I could. I was begging him basically, and he didn't. Obviously he went to a bigger game, but I tried. I gave it my all. But you know what? He absolutely, he'll be a guy that I think will be there at 62 that can make your defense a lot better. One guy that I have on that list that I think maybe a little rich for the 60-second spot, but I think can really do some damage in the Chiefs is Jalen Weidermeyer, the tight end. He had a horrible pro day, and it's going to make him drop. But you can turn on the film, and that pro day does not resemble the player. The player is something totally different. I mean, he's just a big-time playmaker. I don't know if they'll need a tight end. I really don't know where they'll fall. But if you look at their big 30 visits, they're bringing in tight ends. They brought in tight ends, several of them late-round guys. So if Weidermeyer's there and he's a 62 and they feel comfortable with him, I mean, like I told you before, Andy Reid's a guy that doesn't care about any of that stuff. Like, if you can play on Sunday and produce on Sunday, you're going to be a Chief or a Eagle or whatever team he was on. That's just the way he is. And, I love Josh Pascal, though. I think if he's there and they take him to 62, that's a home run. I'm just telling you right now. He should be there. That's a home run if they take him.
What do you think about Logan Hall? Let me hear your estimate on him.
I love Logan Hall. I think he's going to go before 62. There's rumors that he could go at the end of the first. I mean, his stock is skyrocketing right now, and it is because of his motor. His motor, he's relentless. Last year, Houston had Peyton Turner that went in the first round. Nobody was expecting that, and they were like, who in the Peyton Turner? And they're like, what? And you know what? But them Houston kids are different. You go back, Ed Oliver, Houston finds athletic specimens on that D line. They had a kid a couple of years ago named Isaiah Chambers who's in this year's draft class. He's at McNeese State. The kid won he was damn near Buck Buchanan winner for the FCS. So Houston produces defensive ends. That's like DNU. So, Logan Hall would not be a bad pick, and he's a bigger guy that's a freaky athlete. So it would be a great pick too, but I definitely would take Pascal right there at that point. I don't care if Logan Hall's even there. I'm taking Pascal. I'm a Pascal homer, man. I love him. You can't. I like when you're going up against the SEC every week and doing what he was abusing. I talked to offensive tackles. I was trying to find a great defensive ends for my game, and I contacted Florida. I contacted Tennessee. I contacted these major schools, and I said, who is the best edge rusher that you ever had to face? They said, damn, that guy from Kentucky, man.
Ooh, is that right?
Everyone.
Wow.
Dude, I mean, when I talked to Florida's left tackle was like, dude, yeah, Pascal gave me fits, man. That dude's he's freaking tough to play against. I'm taking him. I mean, you sold me already. When you're playing left tackle in the SEC and you're telling me that every single one's telling me the same thing, why do you think I wanted Josh Pascal so bad? I was man, look, dude, if I could have found his parents' number, I would have called. I was that serious. I was trying to get him.
I hear you. I know, man. Look, I'm just watching the games, and I'm checking this dude out, man. He just kept showing up, and he's just taking people's lunches, and I'm just like, man, he's wearing these guys out, right? Nobody's saying, UK, you got some guys, of course, but this dude, But also too, Josh Allen, this is where he comes from, UK. Down with the Jaguars, they learned some things at UK for sure, right? They got a great staff up there, no doubt about it. Shout out to them, for putting some real guys out there, So, but man, Pascal, if he's there, absolutely got to take him, man. I would love for him to be a Chief. Love for him to be one.
Damon, you mentioned tight end. The one name that I've seen a lot of Chief fans talk about, and I watch a lot of I like Pac-12 football. Pac-12 and Big 12 football, the conference I like watching. I like offense. But Greg Dulcich, do you think he'll be around in that pick?
I think you can get him later on. I really do. I think maybe a little bit later on. 94 is where I actually have his name written, but he could be a guy that could be there at 94. I don't think you need him at 62. to be honest with you, I don't think a tight end's going in the first round. The top tight end's going to probably be McBride from Colorado State. I could see him going first, and I got him pegged about in the top 5, top 10 of the second round. So then after that, you're really talking, you're already at almost 50 right there. So I wouldn't necessarily jump on Greg, but I mean, he could be there at the 90 to where it would be a much better value pick for them. But he's an athletic guy too with great hands. So UCLA just don't know how to use players correctly. I said that out loud, but go ahead.
All right, JD. Now we're going to the 94th pick. We're going to the third round now. So
94th pick. Okay, I'm gonna keep it simple. And I don't know. I like this guy. I've been watching him. When I was doing kind of the grading on it, I mean, he kind of keeps like showing up to me. I don't know. And maybe it's just this kind of giving it, a little bit of who this guy is. I think right now we need a safety. I don't know Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know how everything's going to work out. But we got Reed, okay, and I think we may need some help. I'm just saying, possibly if we got this guy, and I'm looking at him, and I could go either safety or I might go corner, and so I like Brian Cook from Cincinnati. Okay, hard-hitting guy. I like his toughness. He reminds me kind of like a Tyrann Mathieu. He really does in a sense because he's aggressive in his play. I think he understands, all the areas like where he needs to be. Like he has a really good feel, okay, of like defenses and fitting in areas and whatnot. And so he kind of jumped out to me, man. And I kept going through and I couldn't get past this guy. I don't know. I just couldn't get past him. Like, dang God, he just, I gotta take him. I like him. I like him a lot. So he's one for sure. Other guy, Jalen Namor Davis. I don't know I don't know. Maybe, possibly he might get there. Corner from Alabama, possibly. So I like that about him. So that's where I'm at. Them two. So what do you think about Brian Cook? What do you think about him, man?
Well, I can tell you what, man. Howard Bison, baby. That's all I'm going to say because he was an HBCU kid. He transferred to Cincinnati. Really shined at Cincinnati. He shined at Howard. The kid was an animal. He'll hit you, knock your teeth out. Absolutely love his box presence. He can come out. He can take on a tight end one-on-one. He's physical and athletic enough. I think he hits way harder than Tyrann Mathieu. And he'll make you pay. I'm not no dog, and Tyrann's a stud, but he's not laying wood like Cook is. So I would take Cook all day long. I think that's a good fit. I don't know if Davis will be there. He's a stud too. He's a very good football player. Not 100% sure he should have. I think he came out early. I'm not 100% sure he should have. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had another year. He probably should have taken it and kept it. But you know what? Even if we're talking about him in the top 100, he'd still be a steal at this point. I'm going to use a different guy, though. I'm going to throw a different player's name out there. You guys are really high on him from what I'm hearing. And it's a little early in the draft, but he's a safety. And his name is JT Woods from Baylor. He is a 4-3 guy. He's a special teams guy. He is a ball hawk. He is Tyrann Mathieu in a nutshell, but faster. So I think, do you put him at, obviously you got Thornhill, who's a stud, but you also have, like you said, Justin Reed, who just came over from Houston, but this is a guy that's a depth guy that you can get him. He comes in, learns your system, and in a year or two, he is your replacement guy. He's the guy that comes in, fills right now. They love him. He's got the speed. He has the technique. He's coming from a great defense. Baylor was awesome. And I'll tell you what, man, I think JT Woods is the guy that I have written down number 1 on 94. He came in for a top 30 visit with you guys already. And he would be a guy that I think would fit right there in that pick. I don't know if he could still be there with 103, You know what I mean? He could still fall to 103,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you risk that if you really need that safety. I don't think it's a major priority for them. But then again, if you can upgrade a position and know that you're getting a stud that can play special teams, remember, special teams adds value big time.
Yes, it does.
JT Woods played special teams. He was big time on special teams. So if you have a guy that can play special teams as well as coming in reserve in a reserve role that can come in automatic, that's way more valuable than a guy that could potentially be a backup or something to that nature. If you can add that extra value, Cook could do that too, and Davis AD could too. I mean, at the end of the day, I either one of them would be great, but I also had them going secondary. I had them going safety, so that was your initial. So I think we're on the right boat with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Okay, well, cool.
We got the 103rd pick, the final pick of the mock draft here, the 3-round mock.
Okay, third pick. And I said, defense is what we need. We need edge. We need this and that. The third pick, this guy, like I said, keeps showing up for me. I like this guy's athleticism, but I like Dominique Robinson. Okay. I like him. I like him. Hey, and I'll tell you what, man, this dude is an athlete. And so when I found out, man, he moved from being
wide receiver.
Wide receiver defense. I said, man, this dude, any dude that can do that for wide receiver to putting his head in their defensive end to come out he's on my boat. I got him. He's come on here with me. Shoot, we're going to go get this. You need to be here with me when we come off of it. I know he'll be down for it. And so when I see him out there playing, man, he's jumping out his cleats. He's firing off, man. And so you see the athleticism being wide receiver coming out. That's what it is. And he's raw. Yeah, he's raw. But you know what? Man, look at his upside when you have with this rawness. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got an athlete. And I said, look, guys only know what they know. And so he a guy that might not know nothing. You teach him some things. You tell him how to do it. He'll get there. He'll be better, man. And that's what I like about it. So it's three. I got like 3 edges, 3 guys. He's the guy that's going to come get the ball. When you need a play, put this guy in. We need a guy to come in and a few plays. Not a big guy. He's still got to learn how to, go against the run and stuff like that. But when you talk about a freakish athlete, to me, I'm taking him all day long. And I think he'll develop. He'll get better. But to me, that's the guy I would go with, man. So what do you think about him?
Man, look, I will be the first to say this. I discovered this guy. I don't care what anyone else says. He committed to the Hula Bowl. We had him in the Hula Bowl for 3 days. 3 days. The minute we announced it, he got stolen from me. But I'm telling you, I had discovered him. Miami, Ohio, baby. I don't care what anyone says. I'll take the knock for it later because
I got you.
He was a wide receiver. He's fast. He's physical. He does not take plays off. But if you need a third down pass rusher, 3rd down, 3rd and 5, and you need somebody to come in and say, go get him.
Yep.
Ooh, and I'll tell you what, you better get a hand on him. You better put something on that kid because he's so damn fast around that corner. Little light in the pants, little raw on the move, but just straight line speed. Oh my Lord, he's so filthy. He's a wide receiver playing defensive end. And if I'm not mistaken, there, Jason, right? That you played double positions at the Senior Bowl, right? You were one.
I did.
Fun fact, right? Jason Dunn, right? A little defensive line action and tight end action at the Senior Bowl back in the day, correct?
That is correct, 100%. I don't know who else has done it, but yeah, that's a fun fact. Yeah, only guy to go at least for me both ways. That's right, the Senior Bowl.
That's it.
I love it.
Dominique Robinson, same type player. You know what? I wouldn't be mad with that. I actually had him going running back, taking a running back in the 3rd round and throwing some juice out there. Just why not add more potential and more stuff around Patrick. Obviously, you lose a guy. When Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes down, you know what I mean? It's not the same. So you add a guy like a James Cook who might be there at 103 or a guy like Pierre Strong from South Dakota State. 2 weapons, great hands, fast, speedy guys that can catch the ball. You can't go wrong there. And them are just 2 guys that I just throw out there, but not necessarily a need. I don't think you guys have many needs. And at the end of the day, that's where we stand in the mock drafts is you guys are at a liberty to kind of take the best player available throughout the entire damn draft if you really want to stick to that approach. There's nothing saying that you have to take your guy. You can wait And if you look at the guys that they brought in their top 30, I don't know how well they follow to it, but like my Buffalo Bills, their top 30 guys are guys that that's who they're going after. Like they're dead serious. They're set on that. Them 30 guys that they have are guys that they have somewhere on that board to where they feel are going to be right there in that spot, and they're picking there. And if they pick, they're taking one of them guys from that top 30 visit. If you look at your guys, a lot of your guys are like late round gems. That goes to show me something. That shows me either you're really high on a guy that I'm not high on, number one, or number two, you're not afraid of losing some draft picks for trade because you're evaluating guys that are later in the draft. So the guys that they've brought in that are like late round guys, Greg Jr. from Ouachita Baptist. I mean, not many people know about this kid, but this kid's a freaking freak. He's a beast. He's an all-around football player. You remember a couple of years ago, I think you guys drafted Tremon Smith, right? He was a return man and everything. This kid's a better corner than Tremon Smith, but not as athletic as far as Tremon was a return man and everything else. But Greg Jr. is a physical 6-foot corner. You guys have brought in, who else have you guys brought in? I was trying to look at the list, going over it all. There was another safety, if I'm not mistaken, a safety or a DB, a corner. You guys had, Jalen Watkins is another one. He's an extremely big kid, fast. He's a later round kid from Washington State. So, like, these are guys that they're obviously looking at later on. And, the Chiefs they're in a great position. You have 6 picks in the top 103.
Yeah, right.
And you were the team that you were the team. I mean, the Bengals beat you barely. You know what I'm saying? Right. So at the end of the day, it's like you're right there. And I would like to say that the Chiefs barely beat my Bills, by the way.
But you know what? The problem was, to me, is, when we needed the plays and those guys, when we needed to get Joe Burrow down or we needed to get Josh Allen down, we needed that, those guys on defensive side to really show up, right? And we got Ingram late, and he brought a whole different mindset to the defense that we didn't have at the beginning. And so I always say, man, you don't want to compromise off. You don't want. Look, I hate the whole score 50 points to win. I don't want. No, that's a terrible philosophy to me. Absolutely. Like I watched how Buffalo did with their rotation of their defensive line. I'm like, yo, that fresh guys or fresh bodies coming in and moving. That's it wears offensive linemen down.
Knowing
fresh body coming in. Yeah.
We had fresh bodies coming in. We could not get to Patrick Mahomes.
I know.
And in 13 seconds, that man ate my entire defense up to get in field goal range. That was bad coaching, man. That was bad coaching. I would have squib kicked. You ain't getting it. I'm kicking it. You returning it. You coming out at least 9 seconds out of there. I'm gonna make you do something, but no. I mean,
Sunday night during the season, you were getting to Patrick big time. That's the Sunday night game you guys got at us.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look. I mean, it works, but like you said, when you have a healthy rotation of guys coming in and out, you're not relying on a veteran, old school veteran. Melvin Ingram's a beast, man. But you don't have to you don't have to just sit there and rely on him coming every single play. You have rotating guys. And Dominique Robinson's a stud, man. I can't believe I didn't get him to the hula ball. I should have kept that quiet for another couple weeks. But, hey, hey, you win some, you lose some, man. But he's a hell of a player. Great human being, too, man. He would be a great asset for you guys. So that wraps up, man. 104, right? That was the last pick.
Last pick.
That was it. Yeah, it was
the name I wanted to ask selfishly. Doing mock drafts, I've discovered a lot of these guys. And there was JoJo Domann from Nebraska, who kind of plays linebacker. He can play safety. The guy kind of plays all over the field. What do you know about him, and what do you like about him?
You know what? I've been watching JoJo for a long time. His dad, Craig's a sports agent, probably one of the bigger sports agents in the country. I've known his family for a long time. They're great people. And, JoJo's a great athlete. He's a gret football player. He really dominates on special teams that's where he's going to make his money. I mean, you think of Peter Matt Takovich or whatever his name is came out. He's in Buffalo. Yeah, Matakevich. He's the guy like that will come in. He's going to make money for a long time in the league. He's going to be in the league playing for special teams. And not just special teams, he can come in and fill roles. Like Daniel Sorensen is a guy that, he kind of reminds me of, in a way, not safety wise. You don't have to worry about that. I seen that face. Both of your guys' face dropped there when I said his name. He's not that bad. Damn, y'all. Y'all made him. Y'all were like, "Oh, he's that bad." No, he ain't like that. No. But I said he's kind of like. Hey, look. I said Daniel Sorensen. You guys just like, hell no. Like both of y'all, you looked at each other. That was bad. No, okay. So let me wipe that off. All right, he's not like Daniel Sorensen. He's better. He's better than Daniel Sorensen. My God, that was ugly. But remind me to remove him from my big board from every. No, I'm just playing. But no, JoJo's a really good football player. He can play. I think he can play all 3 downs and be a 3-down backer. Little light, little small, not the fastest. But as a gamer, he takes great angles. He hits hard. He's not afraid. He's always ripping at the ball. He does the little things that made him a starter in that defense. So it's the little things that are going to get you far in the league. If you're punching out the ball in the preseason, that's going to get you recognized by coaches. So them are the things that I think JoJo would bring to the team. And if you can add a player like that, then it'd be a great addition. And he's better than Daniel Sorensen. Sorry.
Also,
we appreciated Dan having Dan when we had him though. We appreciate that a bit, So
yeah, he had his moments.
Yeah, he did. Of course.
I know a lot of Chiefs fans remember the bad moments, but you also got to remember what he's done for, what he did for us. He was an integral part of us getting to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. So, yeah,
he always punched at the ball though. I mean, like them are things you can't teach a football player. You either have that instinct, put your hands up when the ball's thrown. If you're a defensive end, you put your hands up. You don't realize you could potentially disrupt a whole lot of the game just by putting your hands up. Them little things like that you can't teach. That's just instinctual football.
Yeah. You know what, man? It's such a great point because I don't see guys doing it as much. I was like, man, put your hands up. Just, disrupt it. Just throw it in the lane. Just all of that, man, at the last second. I mean.
See, that pissed me off. We drafted Greg Rousseau to get after Patrick Mahomes. That's great. But damn, you're 7 foot tall. Put your hands up. You're 9 foot tall. You should be able to hit something. Hit a ball with your pinky or something. I don't know. Damn, But just get in their throwing lanes. Yeah, and at the end of the day, if they throw it at your face, it's an incomplete pass. If you catch it, hell, that was a good athletic play. Yeah. You'll be remembered for it later. You know what I mean? At the end of but just put your hands up. It's little things like that. Charles Tillman made it many, many years in the league because of his punch. Yep. And that's separated him. And what do they call it now? They still call it the peanut punch. So, punch the ball, man. It's little things that can get you far in the draft and in the league. And to be honest with you, football players, I'll just give you some more fun facts before we leave. Just because you're drafted doesn't mean you're going to make a football team. We've seen that in the past. Last year alone, 21 draft picks were cut at the end of the cut down. 21, that's damn near a whole round. So almost a whole round of draft picks were cut. And how many undrafted guys made it? More than a handful of each team. So it doesn't matter where you find the value. It's who comes in and who does the most. You're going to have guys that they're not going to play well. And then you're going to have a guy that comes in, like you said, that has that chip on his shoulder, that wants it more, that small school kid that comes in, that Greg Jr., that Christian Watson that want it more. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to separate them from the pack. And at the end of the day, I mean, it could eventually get a veteran cut because if they think that he can replace him, you take the cheaper option every time. And especially when you got major contracts like Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, sir. I said all the time, man, sometimes these contracts will price you straight out the market. They become expendable real quick. And they like, look, we ain't trying to pay that type of money. So, hey, we get this guy and come in here, it's cheaper. He may not be able to do what you can do, but we're going to get him cheaper. We're going to try to get as much value out of him as possible. So that's the league. That's how that's the league. That's how it works. Shoot. Getting rid of jokers every single day.
Yeah, and they're always looking to find somebody cheaper, trust me. That's just the way it works. It's the way it works. Yeah. That's what their job is. I mean, if you can cut your payroll, and still be good, you're a good dude. Like the Raiders cut their payroll and look what they have now. Like Reggie McKenzie was crushed for all the moves that he made for trading all these people. And oh my Lord, look at what is he doing? He's getting first round picks for his best pass rusher and this and that. And they're stacked right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're stacked and they have a lot. They still have cap space if they want it. So
got space, right?
yeah, they've had some decent drafts. So I mean, you can't pick if you pick 2 or 3 of these guys that come. You have 6 top 100 picks. Your odds of hitting on 6 guys is not high. I mean,
not at all.
But if you hit on 3 of them and go 50%, you just got 3 future starters. And if you can get a quality backup in there, that's how you keep your job as a GM, and that's how every scout keeps their job. So it's times like this. Remember, Tyreek Hill will be always remembered in Kansas City as whatever picks are about to be coming behind him.
Yeah.
Man, the Miami Dolphins traded Tyreek Hill for boom, 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 boom. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, that was a steal. That's the way it works, right? We go back and look.
Right.
We go back and look. The 10th pick in the NFL draft, the Buffalo Bills trade it to the Kansas City Chiefs. They come up and they take this quarterback named Patrick Mahomes. I get 2 draft picks.
Yeah.
I end up with Tremaine Edmonds and Tre'Davious White. So I end up with 2 all-pro bowlers for Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. Did any team really lose?
No.
Now when I got Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what happens. I mean, that's what you'll turn a franchise around just like that. So you know what, man? That's the way it works. And obviously, this has been fun, you guys. Much love to you guys. I hate when you beat us. I hope you guys lose when we play you. But when it comes down to the draft, man, we can all be on the same page.
Sir, yes,
absolutely, sir. No doubt, man. No doubt. Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother, man. Seriously, about all your insight and all your work, man, and more so than anything else, like you saying, man, like the small school scouts, people don't realize like how much of a hard work that's going in and actually seeing these guys, talking to them and whatnot. Just the amount of time that you put in and the traveling and whatnot, brother. Appreciate you, man. Much love to you too, man, for sure. All right. So
yeah.
Before he goes out, I want to make sure we plug Damond. Damond, if you're out there and you like Damond Talbot talking about this, which I love, I can talk to him all day. I don't know about you, JD, but you can follow NFL Draft Diamonds, their Twitter account @Draft Diamonds, NFLDraftDiamonds.com to see all their comprehensive coverage on these guys. Anything else you want to add, Damond? Did I miss anything?
Listen, I think your followers and your the listeners, they just need to know who JD is. I don't think they really know who this dude was, man. He was a dog, bro. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to give him little tidbits and throwouts. I don't want his head big. Look how little that door is compared right there when he got to get out of it. I need him to be able to get out of that thing later. But I mean, this is EKU Hall of Famer, buddy. I mean, we're talking about a great football player, athletic freak coming out. Everyone said, by far, one of the best damn blocking tight ends, and it proved out over the years. But you could go up and get a damn ball too, man. So, man, it's awesome to see you doing this and giving back and getting on and talking football with guys. And I think you were coaching too, right? Are you still at Kentucky State?
Yeah.
Or are you gone?
No. So I'm not at Kentucky State anymore at the moment. Right. So I'm doing. I got my Done for Kids thing, man. But hey, all the things you said, man, I appreciate every word of it, man. Seriously, I do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Well, like you said, man, giving back to small schools is what we do. And if you guys really want to watch out more prospects and more people, you can check out our YouTube as well, our YouTube channel. We interview prospect Zoom interviews. They're 30 minutes long. We really get to know the guy, find out more about him, find out about their character, different players. And we try to hit the late round guys. We have a huge lineup coming up. I know we got Reed Blankenship coming up soon from Middle Tennessee State. And there's a lot more players. So you can check it out. Guys that may have been on your top 50 or top 30 visits. Some guys, Gregory Jr., we've done interviews with, different guys like that you can learn more about. And I appreciate you guys for having me. I really do.
Man, anytime, David. And as we go on, we would do more stuff with not more so draft season, but we'd love to have you on during the year too, man. Especially when do we play the Bills this year?
Oh, I'm sure we do.
I'm sure we'll probably playoffs, but
We need to win, though. We need something. I don't know what we got to do to draft at the 25th pick, but whatever it is, if we need to, that son of a gun needs to give me some dubs. So I need some wins.
Well, we'll have to have you on during Bills Chiefs week. So
yeah, man, we got to hear from you during that week, man. We definitely have to hear from you. All right, brother. All right.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in. Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys next week, and I hope you guys enjoyed the mock draft episode. See you guys.